Here's a BTS of my track Watchin. So, let's get started. When I first heard this vocal, I thought it sounded like Rihanna. I hope it does. It's a bunch of vocals cut up from Splice, so it's not from Rihanna, but I wish it was Rihanna, if you're hearing this.
Watching my body move. Watching my body move. Watching my body move. I love it when my waist go round, round, round. When my waist go round, round, round. When my waist go round, round, round. When my waist go round, bang.
So that's the whole vocal. I did some other edits with the reverse in here. And then there's some layers with just extra effects on them. And that's the whole vocal. The only changes are the vocal as it builds up sends to a reverb and a delay through this section here. And then it drops off. So the processing on the vocal is add a bit of thickness. The double tracking preset. Let's have a listen to that. On. Off. On. Off. And then just a bit of soothe and a little bit of EQ and compression. Actually, a lot of EQ. So that's my main vocal. One of my favorite parts of the song is the bass line, which kind of sounds like a bass guitar. That's why I think I really like it. So that's it bounced into audio, but you can see all the automation I do to try and make my bass line sound like somewhere between a real bass player and a synth bass player. So let's have a look at that really quickly. So all the lines at the bottom here are where the bass bends down in pitch. Very subtle. Slight pitch changes there. You can see lots of short notes, lots of long notes. Is it quantized? Yes, it's quantized, but the variation in volume and velocity helps with the swing. The other two things I've automated is the release of the bass and the filter cutoff. So let's see what bass. I'm using Xenology. I use Xenology quite a lot because sorry, you can't see it, my face is in the way, because it's really easy to edit. You have lots of control and you can edit things really quickly and easy. I really, really like it. Also got a whole bunch of different waveforms and simple controls here. So you can see the automation at work here. Now if I was to turn all that automation off, it sounds like this, as opposed to this. I think a really good example is right here. So if I just loop that section, turn the automation off, turn it back on, heaps more movement. That's my bass line. Bends down, this automation here, release and cut off. And it doesn't really change. You can really see how the notes vary in length. If I just show you the audio clip here, wherever I did it to audio. You can see all the little notes in here. Different note lengths, different releases, just to get that groove. That's the bass line. That's processing on the bass line. So we've got, let's have a look. There's a side, EQ, compressor, tightener setting on SSL, and soothe. Now this is Adam's vocal. It's actually, I've got my own preset for soothe where I take away a lot of the between 60 and 120 dynamically, just because it's a really hard area to control in bass. If I turn it off, it's a lot thicker, which is great, but sometimes it's just too thicker. That's why I have it dynamic. This is actually how I use soothe the most. I use soothe mainly to control that really full but could be muddy section of between 60 and 130. I think I just made my own presets the other day, which is, I call it Adam's vocal, but now it's here to control bass. Like low mud and then harsh frequencies. I get it to do all in one. And that's the bass line. So here's the crux of my drums. Let's split it up one by one. Kick. You can see the clap kind of comes over the middle. Some's before the beat, some's after the beat. Then we've got hi-hat. A bit delayed. So just a bit behind on the groove. I do my swing manually. Shaker. I think I just a bit more intensity. A kind of cowbell sample I cut up. With really intentional cuts and a bit of reverb. Tambourine hit on the ons. And a crash. You can see that the cowbell is pretty well quantized, but I have a lot of volume variation. Again, I always talk about volume variation, whereas I just swing the hats. I think I can create a fair bit of swing with just varying the volumes of things as opposed to having to put a lot of swing in it. That's really all the drums. There's a little tambourine feature that comes in here, a loop, just to make it a bit more intense. Again, on the ons. And then that comes out. The busiest part is my chorus. Well, it's my instrumental section of the song, which I kind of call my chorus, but because it doesn't really have a vocal chorus, it has kind of a lead chorus, and that's when my drums, I guess, get their time to shine when the vocal comes away. And that's it. Then there's just a rig reverb clap in this breakdown. Now, drum processing is Soothe. Compressor, just bus compressor, an EQ and an EQ. Why I have two, I do not know. Soothe is way more chill on this one. And I have the amazing Secret Sauce Gullfoss on the bus track. I think it's a multi-band compressor and EQ which just clears, makes clarity. So if you hear it, I've got it not working on 90 hertz down. Off, on, just a bit more clarity up top. I love playing guitar on all my songs. I love chorusy, jazz chorusy guitar. So when I say jazz chorus, it's reference to the old guitar amp, the JC, but I use a software version of it, and I also actually have the pedal of it as well, the new pedal, if you're interested, but I love this sound. I use Guitar Rig 6. Now, it's debatable of how good you think that is, but I've gotten really used to the sound. I use this jazz amp all the time, and this one with just a bit of screamer, which actually turned off. There you go. This I'll show you with and without this chorus. So this amp has a really famous chorus sound. With the chorus off, sounds like that. With the chorus on, and the secret with, I think, this Guitar Rig, I know a lot of more pro people maybe don't use Guitar Rig, but I think a secret with this is you've got to give it you got to pull the mic a little bit away from the speaker to give it a bit more room sound. Otherwise, it can sound quite flat. Extreme, none. Just to make it a bit more real, 1176 on the top. So I use this chorus on almost everything because I really like it. All my guitar sounds have this chorus on it. Again, I do have the new Boss pedal that mimics this. Though I tend to I've gotten so used to using it in Guitar Rig. I use it in Guitar Rig. It says I've got two guitar parts, strummed, another here, where it changes what it plays. So follow the chords. So in context, it sounds like this. And then a reverse guitar part through the bridge. That's all my guitar parts. We have a few pads. They're playing actually all the same thing, but let's just quickly check what they are. Jupiter 4 from Rolling Cloud. I just really like the timing of the LFO on that. Then we've also got, another one. Building up, another Jupiter 4. Fade up to this section. And then I really this is a free synth. BTS Monolith. I like it because it has really good images of what it's doing, all the things it's doing, and I find it quite easy to use, so I use this quite a lot. So there's two harps running together. It's more to be dramatic, and then the chords kind of come from this pad as this one builds underneath, and these two build. Now the chords that it's playing I've forgotten. So here's the chord track. Actually, it could be this actually could be in E major, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Because it's got the F sharp. So yeah, it looks like it could be in C major. That would make the C the 6. If it was in E major, yeah. And the F the E, F, G, A, B, C's the 6. E, F's the 2. Yeah, anyway, they're the chords. Cubase has a feature where it tries to tell you the key, but it tells you the chords really accurately, but it doesn't seem to get the key right. The lead. So here's my lead sound. I've got two synths playing the lead right here. A little bit of bending, and then I've got a layer on that. Now, yes, there's kind of a G-funk thing to it, but I didn't want it to be like G-funk because I'm not making G-funk music. But when I have a simple oscillator synthesizer or like maybe one or two oscillators, these are the synths doing it. Massive X, just doing two pretty classic waveforms there with a bit of effects, and then under it, another Massive X, just to give it a little bit more complexity. Again, if I wanted to be really G-funk, I could have just used one of the synthesizers with the simple like I think it was a saw wave, but having them on top of each other. This makes it a bit thicker. And here it just has an extra octave to it. Yeah, and here's a processing again. Just a little bit of EQ, a little bit of compression, nothing crazy, and soothe. But soothe I've got working a bit harder in certain spots. Again, that's more of a cleanup. That's not really doing a whole lot. So just all of my effects are coming really from this group up here. I tend to have a short reverb, a drum reverb specifically for drums, a hall for kind of effects or a longer one, delay and a short delay. These are the plugins I use. My favorite two. These are probably the only native instruments things I use. I just use FX, but they're just quite simple. I like them, how they sound. So these are my go-to delays, just because it's quite simple to use. And the reason I use RAM or ROM or whatever it is, I think it was free. I'm not sure. Is it just when I put it on the first time, I'm like, wow, that sounds really good and exciting. I'm just going to keep using that. And it's got very simple controls. The only other thing going on is just group sends here to effects and delays. You've heard the ARP one. We've also got a bit of that on our main or all our instruments, where in sections the filter closes off a bit when it's building up and the volume turns down. So the filter takes away a bit of the bottom end for transitions. And for build-ups, you see the filter going down. So you see the filter going down. Bit of bus processing, Goldfoss. And that is it. Again, love that vocal.
When my waist go round, right round. When my waist go up,
So good.
watching my body move, watching my body move.